Hey folks, welcome back to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Day by Day. Thanks for being here. I just watched the I don't know how to describe it. It was did I not do this? It doesn't look like I claimed my, hold on. Alright, right then. Thanks. Sorry about that. Got the headphones on now. Anyway, yeah, I just watched the entertaining video from the gerbil where he posited, once again, happened last week, because you're going to see this about a week from now, where he was like, yeah, I think Death Star raid, and he was serious about it. He's like, Republic fleet, which yes. And then the one thing that I was like, the last thing that he said kind of made me cringe. And if you haven't watched it, if you don't have familiar with who the gerbil is, it's because the guy's had some stuff going on. And it's like he said he hadn't posted in about 6 weeks. So last week would be essentially more or less the beginning of December or right after Thanksgiving. But he's a guy that I've always liked, that I've always trusted, who I think is, when he's on, and when he's not, he's just whatever. And I don't know I don't know where he is right now, because he's in a different place than where he was, a year ago or previous to that. And I think at a certain point, he mentioned that if CG doesn't do all this, that he's probably going to leave. And honestly, he might be going to leave anyway, and that's fine. But he's a guy that I've thought, based upon the way I think and the way I see the game, is he's not Nooch, and he's not Arnold, and he doesn't do stuff the way everybody says that it needs to be done. And that's what I like about him, and that's what I respect about him. And so when I hear him say stuff like this, I'm like, it kind of makes me, I kind of have to think it. Okay. And the Republic fleet, that's something that he said last year, and I would totally be on board with. I totally am here for it. But then he also said that the next conquest unit is going to be a ship, and you're going to need that for the fleet, and possibly for the new raid. I was like, for the Death Star raid, I'm like. And then he also said that this raid that we have now, the Naboo raid, which, if you don't, the Naboo raid is horrible. On this, if you go back, how I lost 3 or 4 months of what progression on this account, because I had to go raid, because I had to bring up one team for that lousy raid, and it's not even a whole team. It's a 3-man. It's a lazy team, is what it is. And what it is it's just these 3 guys. That's the whole team, because you can see there's nobody in here who would be capable of doing nothing else for the raid. It's just these 3. In a couple months we'll have these 2 done, but what are they going to do for the raid? What are they going to do for the Naboo raid? So it's just these three. You know, I brought them up. I took them to 3. I put relics. You know, I took them to, and I put a Zeta on them, and that's the entirety of my investment in the Battle for Naboo raid on this account. That's it. And for the foreseeable future, that's probably all it will be, because it's Naboo and I don't like it. It's Naboo raid. If it was a good raid that people actually enjoyed, well then it would make sense to bring more characters up, but it's not, because it's not a good raid. It's garbage. And when he said it was going to be that he thought based upon the moves that CG made that he thinks it's going to be here until June. I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense, but that doesn't mean I like it at all. If you're trying to get me excited about something, don't tell me that something I hate is going to be here for another 3 months. Because it takes me way too long to do those runs. And I don't like it because it's not fun. If I didn't mention that, I should have, because that's how I feel. It's not enjoyable at all. But, you know, if we get stuck with it, we get stuck with it, you know. Figure it out, whatever. But, yeah, it's all the things I said. But, other than that, he said Republic Fleet, I can get behind it. He's like, there are some iconic ships that aren't in the game. And he said that the next era he thinks is gonna be the era of the original trilogy, which I would be on board with. I mean, we what do we have? We have Peridea Raid. So this is officially the 4th different raid that people think are coming. You know, you have the prevailing wisdom with everything going forward was Peridea Raid. But that was assuming, I guess, that the raid would come out on the heels of Ahsoka being in the game, sort of like Leia was. And that's clearly not happening. So then Calvin came out with this huge idea. Idea that, quite frankly, makes a lot of sense to me. And that's why I'm the proponent of it, of the Zillo Beast raid. In which, if you've not watched, do me a favor, if you're interested in the thing behind the Zillo Beast raid, go watch Calvin's video, because it's his information, and you know. And then you got Rabbit Beaver, and who I heard talking about a Revenge of the Sith raid, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess. and now the gerbil is saying, hey, Death Star. And Death Star makes sense if it's original, if where we're going next is original trilogy. But only if we're going original trilogy, I guess. And if we are, that's fine. That's totally fine. but that's only if we are. Because, it's like, but I think CG is doing themselves a disservice by how long they're keeping the people in this raid. Because every time I see it's up, I'm like, do I have to? I mean, and I do because I want to get the rewards from it, but I'm like, I'm not excited about it. It doesn't make me happy. It's like, okay. And I think I even mentioned the last time we had in that raid in this one, I totally forgot to do it. I didn't get the raid rewards because I didn't do it. Because it's not like the indoor raid where it's like you could be in and out in like 5 minutes. I mean, obviously not if you have a giant roster, but if you have a roster that just says Imperial Troopers, because who doesn't have Imperial Troopers? Everybody has Imperial Troopers in Phoenix, and that's most of what the entire indoor raid was. But with this Naboo crap, it's like I just showed you. You only have Droideka and those droids. If you have a Grievous team, you only have Keller on back, and you only have Keller on back if you've got Mommy Mandalore. You only have the Gungans if you want the Gungans. You only have these Scrub Jedi if you want to have the Scrub Jedi. You might have Qui-Gon, you might have R2, you might have Mace, you might have Jimmy. If you have Shaak Ti, you have, that's a team, but it's like, if you're early game, do you have a reason to go for Shaak Ti? And granted, you look at my roster and you're like, you're 4 million. I know, but I don't have a GL. And I'm still battling assault battle teams and conquest teams. I have no reason to have Luminara, Eidkoth, Jedi Consular, Ayla Segura, Luminara, Kit Fisto, Droideka, B2, B1, Mandagard. I have no reason to have. I wouldn't have any reason to have Sidious and Maul in Newt Gunray if this raid didn't make me have it. Now, if I was going for a GL, if I would have, if I would have, if I were a 5 million, if I were a 4 million account, and if I would have gone SLKR, I wouldn't have any of these. The only person who's, there's 3 pilots that I'm looking at? Plo, Jedi Consular, and Mace. And and I know you need some of them if you're going for Jedi Master Kenobi, But I'm not even close to going back for Jedediah Mr. Kenobi because I don't have what. And I mean, I don't. Do you? You know, at some point, I will have the droids done for the Grievous droids team, like I told you, but not yet. I'm not there yet. At one point, the Grievous droids were on this journey that I'm on, but they're not right now. So there's no reason for me to have them. So I don't. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of building to do. I have a lot of building to do. And honestly, I'm gonna go get Leia as soon as I get done with this stuff. Just so I can be like, hey, I have a Galactic Legend. And it's like I've told you before, okay. I'll have it, then I'll go get, then, maybe I'll start on the Grievous Droids team. And then, maybe we'll start on the Resistance team. And, but I ultimately want to get, 5 or 6 good Conquest and Proving Grounds teams. And I'll build up to Relic 7, Relic 8, to where I can get into through No More Conquest and into Hard Conquest. That's my goal. And then after that, and to be honest, one of those Conquest teams, one of those Proving Grounds team may end up being gas. So gas might be on the table right after Leia, which means potentially gas next year because, like I said, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Traya, Revan, Sith Trooper, Nihilus, Hermit Yoda, of course, Marauder, Scion. I mean, these characters that you see on here that aren't finished, meaning they're not in relics, meaning the ones that you see between Anakin and Pietz, are all characters I need to knock out first, before that I need to knock out. And you see that I'm working on Traya, and then I'm still farming Nihilus, and I still have to farm Scion, and we're farming Sith Trooper and Marauder. So we have a fair bit of farming to do. We have a lot of work to do. And then Leia can begin in earnest. But this is just me. Assault team. These two are assault team. This is Malgus Proven Ground team, and this is Assault Battle team. This is for Jedi Master Luke, which is part of the Jedi Assault Battle team. And then literally after this, let me move up so you can see it. That's what it is. That's what I need to get through to Leia. Anyway, it's been 20 minutes. I apologize. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Hold the line. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.